Brigada Eskwela had its roots in Republic Act 8525, which was enacted during the time of President Ramos. The Adapt a School program aimed to encourage volunteerism and public-private partnership in public education. RA 8525 provided tax incentives for private interventions in schools. Brigada Eskwela or School Brigade, also known as the National Schools Maintenance Week, is a nationwide voluntary effort that was first established in 2003, a program of DepEd, Department of Education, which aims to address resource gaps faced by the department through strengthening partnerships with the local communities. The program mobilizes and brings together thousands of parents, alumni, civic groups, local businesses, non-government organizations, teachers, students, and individuals who volunteer their time and skills to do classroom repairs, maintenance work, and cleanup of public elementary and secondary schools. Given the positive result of the program, in 2008, it has become a permanent activity in the school calendar where all schools nationwide are mandated to implement the program weeks before the opening of classes. In the past, the DepEd struggled in what seems like the lack of priority for education in the country, as reflected in the deficiency of resources for public schools, the shortage of classrooms, overcrowded classes, and schools being not ready for the upcoming school year. In the school opening, pupils and teachers have to put up with an unclean classroom, blackboards that are already too rough to write on, chairs with broken arm rests, and other stuff that needs repairs, maintenance, and cleaning. This affects the first day of classes as the teachers and pupils are obliged to do all the tasks instead of focusing on the first day of their lessons in class. To alleviate these issues, DepEd started a campaign through Adapt a School program in 1998. This allows a partnership with other stakeholders who are willing to share resources to improve the country's public school education. In a few years, the spirit of volunteerism reached an expected peak, which led the program to the communities through Brigada Eskwela. The practice of the program is essential to the school heads, teachers, and learners, to the school community, as it saves and provides resources on the part of the school. The unrelenting support and effort of various stakeholders resulted into an improved school's facilities in preparation for the opening of classes and towards a better learning environment. Every year, more and more people extend help to schools. Companies give cash and/or donations in kind or offer to send their employees to do hours of voluntary work in the schools. Members of different groups like the Philippine Army, local government units, private partners, teachers, and community members are the army of volunteers contributing to provide a healthy learning environment to Filipino youth. Through this initiative, the importance of the community is recognized in making schools the best place for learners to acquire values and competencies needed to contribute to nation building, and clean classrooms, well-maintained learning tools, and attractive landscaping inspire students to attend school, study hard, and persevere to achieve their goals. During the implementation of the program, public schools are transformed into a venue where people had the rare opportunity to collaborate and be directly involved in an endeavor with the government in achieving one goal. As the DepEd explains, one of the Brigada Eskwela's goals is to foster understanding among all sectors of society that the education of the Filipino people is the responsibility of everyone. The government, which provides free education for the Filipino youth, the country where they grow, and the private sector who will eventually employ them, all stakeholders for education. Their cooperation is significant to the success of every student's education. Relative to the coronavirus disease 2019 outbreak, the Office of the President has issued Presidential Proclamation number 922 Series 2020 declaring a state of public health emergency throughout the Philippines. In response to the public health emergency and guided by the issuances on the management of COVID-19 by the Office of the President, the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases in the Philippines or IETF-EID and the Department of Health DOH, the Department of Education DepEd developed a Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan or the BELCP for the guidance of all DepEd units, titled Learning Opportunities Shall Be Available. The Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan in the time of COVID-19, the BELCP lays down the direction for basic education in the coming school year and shall be operationalized on a rolling basis through implementing issuances, programs, and activities at all governance levels of DepEd. As articulated in the BELCP, Brigada Eskwela and Oplan Balik Eskwela, the annual activities of DepEd to prepare for the school opening shall be reconfigured to fully assist the preparation of stakeholders for the coming school year. Pursuant to this and in consideration of the relevant regulations for the management of COVID-19, DepEd issues these joint implementing guidelines on the 2021 Brigada Eskwela and Oplan Balik Eskwela to the COVID-19 situation, which amends relevant provisions of DepEd Memorandum and Brigada Eskwela Program Implementing Guidelines. The traditional concept of Brigada Eskwela, which involves physical cleaning, painting, repainting, and doing minor repair, will no longer happen in May unless otherwise provided by other DepEd issuances. It may still be done during the 2 weeks before the opening of classes in public schools, depending on the prevailing local rest classification and community quarantine guidelines. If allowed, schools shall be strictly comply with protocols on social distancing and implement precautionary measures consistent with the IETF health protocols, DOH protection protocols, local quarantine rules, and all other relevant protocols provided in DepEd and DepEd Task Force COVID-19 issuances. The new concept of Brigada Eskwela shall focus on preparation and strengthening partnership engagement to ensure that learning continues even in the time of COVID-19. These activities shall highlight partnership initiatives that complement the Department of Education. Under Oplan Balik Eskwela, DepEd shall set up the Public Assistance Command Center or DepAC at the central office with its counterparts at the regional and schools division offices through its public affairs unit. Oplan Balik Eskwela shall continue to address frequently asked questions by parents and learners in relation to enrollment, attendance, and other relevant DepEd policies, rules, and regulation on class opening.